Nevada State Convention. Every single day, this situation gets more and more ridiculous. And you would think that it would be what happened at the convention, the abuse of people's rights,
the suppression
of votes, right? Mm-hmm. The corruption of the democratic process. You would think that would be the subject. But no, it's the reaction to all of this that the media and Democratic politicians want to talk about. So now they actually want to be categorized as sympathetic figures. They want apologies. They want Bernie Sanders to condemn his supporters' actions and the actions after the convention.
Because his supporters are the ones that are preventing the Democratic Party from uniting.
Right. This is the whole narrative now.
Yeah, now. All of a sudden. Right. All of a sudden.
So it's what happened after the corruption that's being condemned, but not the actual events, not the corruption in and of itself. That doesn't have to be condemned. Only the booing, the fierce objection to this corruption,
and then like the threatening phone calls after,
right?
Or there was supposedly some graffiti.
Yeah, graffiti at the state Democratic Party. Yeah. I guess their building. There was some pro Bernie Sanders graffiti on the building. Roberta Lang, who is the chair of the Democratic Party in Nevada, she's had threats, calls, social media posts, stuff like this. Even her actual workplace at her restaurant has had calls and had negative feedback on Yelp and posted, negative comments. And let's see, what's my opinion about all of that? I don't care at all. I don't care at all.
I don't either. I don't even care what she was called, honestly.
No, not at all.
Because I did hear one phone call she received, a voicemail saying you should be hung. Mm-hmm. But it also said, like, you're an embarrassment to the Democratic Party.
Right.
You should lose your job, stuff like that. It was all stuff based on what they felt her actions were and not just some random insults. Now, like, I guess that's not how I choose to address. Mm-hmm. If I felt there was a problem, that's not how I would choose to address it.
Yeah.
But to act as if these people like had no valid grievances,
that's right,
is kind of misleading.
That's right. She is a public figure, and she did things to corrupt the process in public. And now she's mad at the response.
That the public is lashing out at her.
Yeah.
She's a public figure. She's like, I do this as a volunteer. Blah blah blah. Like it's something like it's almost like a weekend thing.
Yes.
And I'm like she doesn't even take it seriously. So I'm just like, well, if you're a public figure and you want to be a public figure, then you should kind of expect the liabilities of that.
She's a liability. That's exactly how you have to frame this. Because let's see what she did, and if we've seen the video, there's a ton of videos out there where she looks angry, especially at the end. She pounds the gavel and she completely ends the proceedings, right? So people are mad, people are booing. So what do you think is going to happen when you take away people's rights? What exactly do you think they're going to, like, you think people are just going to be like, oh, well, all right, we're disenfranchised, but
we'll just deal with this later and not in the moment at the time. Because Debbie Wasserman Schultz came on CNN talking about how there's a proper way that you address these
proper way, right? Okay, so there's been a problem in Iowa, there's been a problem in Illinois,
Arizona,
New York. All of these.
So again,
Nevada.
This is a buildup. I don't think you can view this situation in a vacuum. No. That's the problem.
No, you can't, because this has been systemic. Yeah. It's been systemic corruption.
And you know what's so funny? It's like they've been waiting on an opportunity for Bernie Sanders supporters to lash out in order to like pretty much write off any grievances that they have. And I've seen this online in the comment sections of Hillary supporters they're getting a lot of approval too. Like, it just seems like they've been waiting on this. Like, somehow, like, oh, they made it sound like they were foaming at the mouth and with pitchforks.
No. I mean, that's just not what all people want. All people want is their voices to be heard in a fair way. At the convention, there were actually Hillary supporters that left. And there were Hillary supporters afterwards that were protesting with Bernie Sanders supporters because they saw the corruption.
Because they want a fair fight.
Exactly.
They don't want to lose under false pretenses.
Because who does that serve? Whose interest does that serve? The only people that are okay with this are people that just want Hillary Clinton to win no matter what. They don't care the dirty politics that are being played. They got blinders on just like that. That's why I call them fake ass liberals. This Roberta Lang, she actually wants an apology. Harry Reid talked to Bernie Sanders before he put out a statement and said, and pretty much said, he needs to tone it down. His supporters need to tone down and just settle down, Bernie. Just settle down your followers, right? Because it was really ugly at the convention. So Bernie put out a statement, and it was not to their liking because although he said, of violence, he doesn't condone any violence and things like that. He put the blame of what happened at the convention solely at the feet of the Nevada Democratic Party, where it should be. But that claim, why does Bernie have to even talk about violence? Was there any violence there? Mike, did you see any violence? We weren't there, but we saw the video, right? Was there any violence?
I saw a lot of anger.
There was a whole lot of anger. There was yelling, booing like crazy. One guy picked up a chair, put it down. There were no. There's been
egregious.
There's been reports that are stating this as fact that there was actual chair throwing. Yet nobody has any video of this.
Nobody got escorted or arrested.
Nobody. There were cops all over that place. Nobody got arrested at that convention.
So why are they painting it?
Yes.
Like that then? That's what you need to ask.
Because they want to be sympathetic figures now. Forget about the corruption that we employed. Forget about the voices that we took away. Forget about the 64 delegates that we just pushed out of the whole process.
Even though those delegates are already caucused before, all of a sudden they're not, they don't have credentials now. Come on.
Man, look, we all know this has been systemic corruption right from the outset, okay? Take a look at the super delegate count right now. It is staggering. Bernie Sanders has 40 super delegates. Hillary Clinton has 524 committed to vote for Hillary Clinton at the convention. That's astounding. That is so ridiculous. I can't ever remember seeing a count like that. Ever. Howard Dean, when he ran for president, I think at the time of the Iowa caucuses, he was leading the superdelegate count at that point. And he was deemed somewhat of an outsider, right?
Outsider, he was kind of the underdog.
Yes. And you're telling me Hillary Clinton is such a great candidate that she has an almost 500 superdelegate count lead? Are you serious? Or can we be just real here and say that there's some corruption going on?
Corruption, collusion, and it was from the jump. We talked about this before with the Democratic parties of 33 states making the deal.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Before we get into that, let's play you the video.
I do think Bernie Sanders, in terms of the high ground, I think they have sometimes played taken the low road too. For instance, he accused the Clinton campaign of sort of being in a collusion with the DNC and illegally fundraising because of their joint fundraising agreement, an agreement that Sanders could have taken part in, but he decided not to. And I think his supporters sometimes do kind of traffic in conspiracy theories and this idea that somehow the DNC is rigged against them. This is the same sort of DNC and state and party apparatuses that elected Obama in 2008.
They traffic in conspiracy theory. Is this conspiracy theory, man?
That's not a conspiracy theory.
No, they actually did it. The DNC and Hillary Clinton and multiple state parties colluded together and practiced money laundering to fund Hillary Clinton's campaign. This is not a conspiracy theory. There's even been a report that 99% of those
the money that was funneled through these states to the DNC,
where'd it
and
go?
Then back to Hillary Clinton's campaign.
Clinton. That is money laundering because, like we said, individual donations are $2,700. She got millions upon millions of dollars through this money laundering. But it's a conspiracy theory?
But what did she say next?
Oh, yeah. She said, well, Bernie, she said she's pretty much framing this like this is an unfair attack because Bernie could have done the same thing with the DNC.
Wait a second. That seems to contradict her first point. Then that wouldn't make it a conspiracy theory if Bernie could have done the same thing. If it's a conspiracy theory and it didn't happen, how can she then say next that, well, Bernie could have done the same thing too?
Like it's not money laundering.
Like it's not money
because
laundering.
Bernie could have done the same thing.
Exactly.
No.
She could.
Okay, look. So Bernie could have done the same thing, but it would have been money laundering too, right?
Well, it would have been counterintuitive to his platform.
That's right. That's why he didn't do it.
That's why he didn't do it.
So you're telling me, so what she's saying is Bernie can't use this attack because he could have sacrificed his principles and participated in the corruption. Yeah. That's unbelievable.
He could have been a part of the establishment too. Why didn't he?
He chose not to. So you can't use it because you could have participated in the corruption, but you chose not to.
And that's why you're losing.
Yeah. The same corruption elected Barack Obama.
Oh, no, that was whack. That was whack. They're trying to paint it as if Barack Obama and Bernie Sanders are the same candidate, and they're not. No. So I don't care how Barack Obama won.
Check it out. If Bernie Sanders and Barack Obama were anything like the same candidate, would Bernie Sanders only have 40 superdelegates? Would Bernie Sanders have only 40 superdelegates? The only reason Hillary Clinton has such a massive lead in superdelegates is because Bernie Sanders wants to change the system. That is the only reason. He is through with the establishment, and they know it.
But he's called idealistic, and his platform is called puritanical because of that. You know what I'm saying? That's what pisses me off.
Look, we're gonna hear more and more about this, the reaction to the Nevada State Convention. More condemnation to Bernie Sanders, even his condemning of the violence.
You know what? Exactly. They're saying that like he encourages it by promoting this political revolution talk.
But one, he condemned it. Two, he condemned something that wasn't even there. There was no violence.
That's the point.
It's like they're just throwing it out there like it's fact.
People are even comparing this thing that went down in Nevada to like a Trump rally. I was like, are you serious?
Nobody sucker punched anybody. Nobody got arrested even.
And Bernie is not encouraging it.
No,
he's not saying he'll pay the bills.
Yeah,
legal
he didn't
bills.
say he's gonna pay legal fees, right? He didn't say get him out of here, right? No.
Some people just looking for some little slight excuse.
See, look. Like I said, if you're somebody who believes in democracy and who believes in a fair political process, this should drive you absolutely crazy because people's rights were taken away from them. And this is not the first time we've seen this in just a few short months.
And of course,
in the same election cycle.
Yeah, and it's towards the end of this primary cycle. Mm-hmm. So obviously there's been some snowballing that's been going on. Mm-hmm. And so this is not something that is just new.
No.
It's not new.
No, we've seen this. And look, it doesn't matter that this happened in one place, right? And this was Nevada. No, they feel the weight of Arizona. They feel the weight of New York. They feel the weight of everywhere. This has been, like you said, it has snowballed and it's come to a big, giant snowball now. And you're acting like we should just take the corruption, sitting down peacefully and quietly and say, well, they screwed us, but
we should unite with them.
Yeah.